Hi everyone, welcome and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is CeeChronicles and I go by that name on all my social media platforms. So if you're joining us here for the very first time, I post fragrance related content on this platform, guys. I post weekly and consistently. So if that sounds like something that you may be interested in, guys, please do consider joining us here by subscribing. To those who are returning, thank you so much, guys, for the continued support. I appreciate you as always, guys. Now, welcome to a fragrance review video. Today we have Lattafa's Azeezah, and this is the packaging. It's simplistic, it's blue and gold, as you can see. This one comes with an authenticity sticker, guys. However, Lattafa does tend to be inconsistent when it comes to presentations, so just make sure you're purchasing from reputable sellers in case some of the ones in this range don't have an authenticity sticker. So that's it for the box, guys. In terms of the bottle, this is how the bottle looks like, guys. It kind of is matchy with the box there. Okay, so they've gone ahead and just, made sure that it does tally with what it is packaged in, and that is the close-up of Lattafa's Azeezah. We are going to spray this one in its box as per usual, just to make sure that you guys see the atomizer and I get a reference point. So this is how the atomizer for Lattafa Azeezah sprays like. There's plenty there. I always show you the atomizer, guys, because believe it or not, some people do want to see the atomizer. It is something that doesn't bother me per se, because I mean, if it sprays, but some people are particular. Now, in terms of the notes, guys, this is one fragrance that Lattafa presented the notes as is. As in, as you hear the notes, if you've used the fragrance that it is inspired by, you'll know exactly what this fragrance, is duping. Now, it lists almond at the top, coffee, bergamot, and lemon, and then the mid of this fragrance is composed of florals. So do expect a mid of jasmine, tuberose, rose, orange blossom, and orris. And then the base of this is gonna have tonka, some cacao, sandalwood, vanilla, and praline. Now, when I purchased this fragrance, I was just too excited to know that it did have cacao and coffee, to an extent that it did skip me that, oh, I already have this fragrance. However, I'm going to tell you more about it. The opening of this fragrance is going to be semi-sweet, but for some it's going to be sweet. I get a burst that is somewhat bittersweet there with a nutty softness to it. So it is a fragrance that to my nose kind of highlights the almond note there, right? So expect a semi-sweet or sweet, depending on your nose, woodsy, almondy fragrance that has white florals. But if you are crazy about florals to an extent that you like them loud and screechy, you're not gonna get that from this fragrance. The juice does include florals. They bounce off like a well-rounded, seductive, smooth mix, if you will. If I'm to isolate one or two, in case you really want to know which floral you're gonna smell from this, I'm gonna say maybe orris, okay, because there's like a powdery thing that is carried with these florals, and maybe a little bit of jasmine there, but the jasmine doesn't border on green. Everything in this fragrance, guys, is well rounded, okay, with a light, like caramelized feel there of coffee and wafts of cacao, just wafts of cacao. I'm not gonna say, purchase this is the next best cacao fragrance on the market, but I do get like a slight touch of a cacao feel in this fragrance. And if you were wondering what this fragrance, guys, is inspired by, this is inspired by Carolina Herrera Good Girl, the original. And I do have that fragrance, and if you are one that follow my channel, you will know that I have a love and hate relationship with Carolina Herrera's Good Girl. Why? Because I find the tonka in Good Girl very heady. I find it borderline unisex in a way, leaning masculine even, because the tonka there is just thick and grassy, that sort of thing. Well, in this I don't get that. I get a tonka, absolutely, but this fragrance just presents how multifaceted tonka can be. In fact, what I get from this, guys, is like an almondy, vanilla-y leaning tonka there, less grassy, less green, and that is what makes this fragrance one that I actually prefer than the original. I'm not slagging the original, but you will know that the original has like a heady tonka, which some people absolutely love and some people, you know, have a problem with. The only con that you're going to get from Azeezah, because of that diluted use of the tonka, is the fact that this one's lasting power is not going to be that great. But let me add that if you love Carolina Herrera's Good Girl, the original, and you find it heady, then you are going to love this one. You're going to find this rendition more wearable, because this, even on 20 sprays, doesn't get too heady. Even on 20 sprays, doesn't feel like a fragrance that borders on masculine, okay? So it is a juice that if the original was a miss or it was just too much for you, because the original is beastly, and those who love it for that reason. I am just saying, do expect a take here that is a bit on you know, the lighter side, highlighting that almondy feel, and the tonka also leaning a bit almondy to an extent of boosting, you know, the already existing almond note that has been added to this. There is an underlying, just slight underlying wafts of a creaminess, you know, like a lactonicness, just slightly. You know, if you really play around with this fragrance, you're gonna detect somewhat of a, you know, like a light almost creaminess there, and that could be just the cacao presenting itself in the mix. Another thing is, in as much as it does have the coffee note to me does not shine in this fragrance. What I get is mostly well-rounded florals, you know, bouncing off a caramelized cacao feel there, and a bittersweet feel of an almond. That is what I get. And then of course a powdery orris and just a shy jasmine. The other thing that I should add, guys, with Azeezah is it's one of those fragrances that Lattafa did not choose to punch up. So do not expect a version that is twisted. Just expect that a CH Good Girl juice, but you know, lighter there, less heady, and it does omit the note of cinnamon, which is in Good Girl, and maybe that is what saves the day, because the way Middle Eastern fragrances are done, if they had put cinnamon, if there is cinnamon, then it's not doing much for me. However, let me say, if they had gone ahead to douse cinnamon, you know, because the original does have cinnamon, maybe this would have taken a different direction, or would have been at par with what is duping in terms of performance. So they have just gone ahead and given us a light to an extent more wearable rendition of Carolina Herrera's Good Girl, but without tweaking it to an extent of it smelling different. So do expect a DNA that is at par but lighter. So I do hope that I haven't lost you there, guys. Do expect to reapply this fragrance, because it will shine for about 4 to 5 hours there, even on a lot of sprays, and then it tends to kind of weigh off. It is also pretty linear, so it's a fragrance that if you went into a shop and you sprayed it there, you can more or less make a decision whether you want it or not. It doesn't have pages that change much. That first burst that you get there, that nutty burst, that soft burst that you get, you're gonna carry all through, guys. With this fragrance, there are no twists and turns. If you like me, that you own Good Girl, but you kind of have a love and hate relationship, you might find yourself gravitating towards this one more, because it just comes across as a lighter interpretation of everything there, guys. The tonka is not overwhelming. The juice itself in its entirety performs in a subtle, smooth, less screechy way, if I may put it that way, than what the original is like. And if you are a person that has not smelled Carolina Herrera's Good Girl, the original one, then you may want to try this one, guys. If you love this and you were counting your pennies there whether you should actually buy the real thing, this is going to give you a representation of the real thing, except expect the real thing to be stronger, because yes, I do get a fragrance that lasts till the next wash from the original Carolina Herrera Good Girl. CeeChronicles is my name. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me today. Let's meet in the comment section, where we obviously discuss more about fragrances. Let me know if you've been seeing this one around, if you own it, or if you're planning on buying it. I would love to know in the comment section, guys. Also, turn on post notifications. That way you get to be notified anytime I upload a video. And most importantly, guys, have you subscribed? If not, guys, then why not? Thank you so much for joining me today. And remember that smelling good is a form of good manners. Cheers.